Amaranth wants you to date her chatbot. An idol winner loses everything. Selena gets confronted by her kidney donor. And advice for people who actually asked for it. All this and nearly 180 exclusives at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. I'm a huge fan of The Punisher. Now, when I say this, I don't mean I'm one of those chode chompers who have a skull sticker on the back window of their Ford F-150 next to the Blue Lives Matter flag. What I mean is I've read pretty near every single comic appearance of Frank Castle, nearly 50 years of published material, hundreds of comics. And what every real Punisher fan knows is that he should never exist in the real world. He lives in a black and white fantasy world where we, the reader, can see the heinous crimes committed by his enemies. Drug kingpins, arms dealers, human traffickers. People who are so cartoonishly evil, you have to root for the guy who will do what no one else has the guts to do. But aside from an absurd storyline in the 70s where he was drugged and fired mercy bullets at jaywalkers and litterbugs, you know who the Punisher doesn't hunt down? Shirt stealers and people who are too annoying on subway trains. I'm a little late on the Jordan Neely story, yes, but you guys know by now that this is not a reactionary channel that chases the biggest stories for clicks. I like to wait until we have more facts. Real quick, for those really out of the loop, Jordan Neely was a homeless man who was choked to death by an ex-Marine named Daniel Penny on a New York City subway. Wait, who else was an ex-Marine? Oh yeah, Frank Castle. Reports are that Jordan did not physically attack anyone, but that he was ranting and carrying on about being tired and hungry and not caring what happened to him. He threw his jacket on the ground. Some reports say that he said he didn't care who he hurt, that he wanted food and wouldn't take no for an answer. And then a dude came up behind him, took him to the ground, choked him for like 15 minutes, and he died. So then we get two different sides. One, this was just a mentally ill man who did Michael Jackson impersonations on the train. He was harmless and beloved. But also, he was a man with 42 prior arrests, including an outstanding warrant for assault. A small number of those arrests were also apparently for assault, but the NYPD say that most of the arrests were for things like transit fraud. So he tried to use fake tickets or something, and criminal trespass. So probably jumping the gates or sleeping on private property. He was homeless. And things like having an open container of alcohol in public. There are stories that he attempted to kidnap a child. No reputable news outlets seem to have any real details about this. In fact, even the usual goofies have no more info other than he was once seen dragging a 7-year-old girl down a street. They did say he was a Michael Jackson impersonator. No, Buckley, no. But either way, he was caught and arrested for that. The child was unharmed. Now, all of these things, assault, uttering threats, trying to get on the subway for free, drinking in public, shit, even attempted kidnapping. As far as I'm aware, none of those crimes are punishable by the death penalty in even the most backwoods shit-kicker state in the country. And as you know, I believe in the death penalty. Did Jordan need to be restrained? Maybe, but I don't think someone needed to go hoist Gracie on him until he stopped breathing. Should he have been in jail or some sort of facility? Yeah, probably. Hey, listen, I'm not saying, oh, this guy was a saint who should have been allowed to roam the streets freely. Supposedly, he was on some list of New York's top 50 homeless people or something. I must have missed that Watch Mojo video. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a dumbass rant comedian who comments on society and pop culture. I don't know what could have prevented all this, but what I do know is that I don't think a healthy society is one that goes, yeah, he got what he deserved. He was being shitty on a train. The world's a better place now. We need more people taking the law into their own hands. As blue checks basically celebrate the guy's death. As of writing this, Daniel Penny has a Give Send Go fundraiser for his legal defense that's reached nearly $3 million. 57,000 people aren't just supporting him with their words, but with their wallets. Like I said, I think I've read nearly every Punisher comic ever, but maybe I missed the one where Frank Castle executed a man on a train because he said he'd hurt someone if he didn't get some food. Maybe it's a what-if issue. What if the Punisher was a subscriber to the Daily Wire? But hey, I'll give you that Jordan Neely had a history of violence, and you think violence is the only answer for violence. But what do you think the punishment should be for, say, shoplifting? How about, I don't know, vehicular manslaughter? So this was a story out of Liberalfornia, aka Hell on Earth. A Dollar General employee chased down a shoplifter who was on a bike and tried to run him over. Then, when that didn't do the job, she tries to hit him with the car door. They exchange words as both of them try and gather up as much stuff as they can. She then almost backs over him as she leaves. This tweet went viral saying, "The Dollar General manager deserves a raise. She has had enough of this man's thieving ways and runs him down with her car and retrieves some of the store's merchandise." She didn't get a raise, by the way. What she got was fired. Even crazier, TMZ reports that she was a criminal justice major in college. For the question about proper sentencing of a shoplifter, all you wrote was, "See Death Race 2000. Can you elaborate for us? Employees at a Lululemon in Georgia were also fired recently for trying to stop shoplifters. This one, the footage just shows them yelling at the thieves and then chasing them out of the store to try and film their car. Lululemon management said that the women were terminated for knowingly violating our zero-tolerance policy related to physically engaging with the perpetrators, which put their lives and the safety of our guests and other employees at risk. This resulted in people calling Lululemon woke on Twitter. I guess all stores are woke because every retail store has these policies. Reportedly, these shoplifters were arrested and charged by the police. Good. I don't think the workers should have lost their jobs. They were just filming them. Didn't actually try and fight them, like, say, this guy in a TJ Maxx last month. Seen here, bouncing a woman's head off the anti-theft detectors because he believed she was a shoplifter. Then wrestles her to the ground, as some goober captions it, "Just in, Good Samaritan attempts to stop thieves at TJ Maxx in California. Joe's America." Now again, I don't think I should need to say this, but some mouth breather is going to call me a bleeding heart liberal. I don't think theft is good. I think these people should be charged. I don't think they should get away with it. I want them to be punished for their crime, by the law. But I also don't think employees, or especially citizens, should be trying to run them over or fight them. But shoplifters are the reason prices are so high in stores. Do you just believe everything you see on Twitter? Or have you ever considered taking 3 seconds to think rationally about something? All this shit costs nothing. Fucking slave labor tights from Lululemon, Chinese plastic shit, and bags of chips and pop from Dollar General, discount clothes from TJ Maxx also made overseas. Again, thieves equal bad, but losing a little of that shit doesn't even put a dent in their bottom line. You know how I know this? Because if it did, they'd hire security. But they don't, because it literally costs more to pay someone to protect the product than the product is actually worth. Which is why, again, pretty much every store tells their employees, if someone shoplifts, don't pursue them, let them go. If you get hurt trying to get back $100 worth of merchandise that actually costs a store about $10, and they have to pay out workers' comp or any sort of health insurance, or worse, deal with a lawsuit, they lose money. Hell, they clearly feel that even paying a couple security guards $35,000 a year isn't worth it, that they lose less in merch than that every year. So in the immortal words of Limp Bizkit, if you don't care, then we don't care. And fuck these people calling them Good Samaritans. They're wannabe vigilantes, except they're way too cowardly to go after the types of criminals the Punisher goes after, so they fight people stealing pants and chips. It's appropriate that you can't spell vigilante without V, A, G, I, or N. En français, vagin. In plain English, you gotta be a dumb cunt to want to put your own life on the line, lose your job, or risk going to jail to maybe save TJ Maxx and Dollar General a few bucks. Buckley, that's pretty toxic. Yeah, well, you know what else is toxic? A society that wants to devolve into TJ Maxx beyond Thunderdome.